Hello. Good morning, everybody. How are we doing today? Looks like we got a few people coming on here. This is awesome. Hey, Christine, how are you?
Good morning, Patricia. It's really nice to be here. I'd like to welcome everyone. This is a Life's Cheerleader live Q&A session where we troubleshoot our lives. And so I'm Christine Morgan, and I'm here with your Life's Cheerleader, Patricia Love.
Hello. I hope everybody, like Christine said, is doing awesome today. We are always excited to do this Q&A. It's fun, and we love the questions that come in, and we've got a few coming in here. This is really wonderful. I love this. So you want to read that first question? Looks like we have a question on awareness, Miss Christine.
Oh, yes. We'll go ahead and get started. So our first question is, we all know that Patricia is a big one on awareness. So somebody came in and point blank said, how do we become more aware? Like, how do we just learn that skill?
How do we learn that skill? Well, like everything, it does take practice, but it's really just acknowledging your thoughts and really thinking about your thoughts. And so the more you actually think about them, the more aware you actually become, and you start like really noticing things more. For instance, like when I'm taking a walk, I used to just walk to the mall or walk someplace. Well, now I've made the decision to kind of look, to be aware of my surroundings, be aware of the plants being arranged, of the people's smiles, also being aware of my thoughts of what's going on. So I'm really, it becomes a skill as far as just acknowledging that you are aware, I believe. So maybe I'm not quite saying that right, Christine, and maybe you can help me out here, but it's just becoming in tuned a little bit and just listening to yourself.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think one of the keys to becoming more aware is choice. Becoming aware is actually a choice. And so it's a skill that you can learn over time, but you have to choose to do it. So Buddhists call it mindfulness. You know, it's being aware of what's going on in our minds and checking ourselves at different points when we just start getting kind of crazy inside. So those are the times where I check in with myself. I would say one of the ways to build the skill is to maybe even set a little timer every couple of hours on your phone. And when that timer goes off, stop and think, what am I thinking about? What am I focusing on? What's going on for me? And create moments of awareness.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
That is wonderful because it really is a choice. And through these last several years of lots of things going on and changing my life, I definitely choose to do things. I choose to be aware. I choose. And that's another big word for me, choosing, just like awareness is. And because I believe we all have choices, but I love the fact that you take putting a little timer on your phone, because that does make you stop and connect with the world, or connect with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of, again, sometimes we just need that little like ding, like, oh, I better connect with myself. I better see my surroundings. And the more you do that, the more you will become aware, and it becomes natural after a while. It just becomes like, instead of having to wait for the timer, you start being aware of a lot of things around you and in your mind and in your thoughts.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, Christine.
Oh, yeah. You can even become aware that the timer's about to go off.
And actually gotta go, oh, the timer's going off. Oh, and I'm in a meeting. I better like turn that off, right? And then you can be aware of all the people around you. So I love that idea, though. I'm actually gonna take that and do that myself, even though I'm very aware and I make choices. I'm gonna try that. In fact, that'd be a fun thing to have people come back and see how that worked for them.
Yeah, I think
It's a fun little exercise. I love that. So Alrighty then. So awareness is something that's very, very important. And the more we do it, and using that little ding is excellent. But I'm finding this last month or so, I really chose to become more and more aware. And it really has helped me in everyday tasks, everyday situations, because I'm also, when I'm talking to people, I'm even aware and I'm choosing to be totally present and aware of what is actually going on with them. And so then I can react because I'm aware of what my feelings are too. So I'm really taking into consideration all of that.
You're so right. Awareness is really about being present. It's being in this moment. It's being in the here and now. So, and we struggle with that. We can get stuck in our heads and thinking about the future, thinking about the past, all these things, and we're not here in this moment. And so when we choose awareness and when we practice and build this skill, it helps us stay in this moment. And that actually makes our lives much more peaceful and serene, I would say. Even if it's a chaotic moment, we when we are in it and we're observing it, like, oh, that's interesting, that person is yelling at me, I wonder what's going on for them. That kind of awareness can actually help focus us and center us.
I completely agree on that one too, because the more aware I am, the calmer I am. It makes me more connected, and I can really being aware, because when you're not aware, you're kind of just all over the place. You're not focusing.
Mm-hmm.
And when you focus, you definitely, we've used the word grounded a lot this month, but you really connect to things. And I believe that this last month or so, I've really felt a connection. I've really connecting more with my self and in tune because of the awareness. So it's a practice, a skill, but the more you do it, like everything else, and you choose to do it, it becomes easier and easier and easier. So I continually will tell everybody, especially the person that asked that question, to keep practicing it. Try the skill that Christine has suggested on a little ring on your phone or something to just make you aware. And you're going to start doing it all on your own. And you're going to be surprised. It'll just become natural.
Yeah.
That's what's so cool about it, is that pretty soon it just kind of becomes like, whoa, I'm really feeling comfortable and aware. And you're feeling in tuned and connected with lots of different things. And it really is a wonderful feeling when it starts becoming more and more natural. But you got to keep practicing, and you got to choose to practice it.
That's really true. It's a skill. So you have to, just like learning to play the piano, you have to get those fingers on the keys, and you have to get that mind into the present space. So if the timer idea doesn't really jive for you, there's lots of different ways to trigger yourself to be more aware. And maybe even it's a little notebook you keep by your bed at night, and before you go to bed, you think about some of the times when you were aware. You start tracking it, like kind of saying, well, what was I aware of today, or what's something I noticed, and just take a couple little notes, and you'll find that as you make that part of your regular practice, you'll start having more and more times where you're aware.
That's a great idea too. I actually thought of something else that I'm sure I think it would work for me. Like, pick a word for the day.
Oh yeah.
More of a kind of a common word in some ways that maybe other people you will probably say it to, like maybe sunshine or just something. And whenever that word comes to play, it kind of triggers a little bit of like, oh, awareness.
You are so right. Recently I've been going through a class about domestic violence. I'm going to be a volunteer on a hotline. And so one of the things that they have really made us aware of is how violent our language is. And so, when you say, hey, just shoot me an email, or hey, don't beat around the bush, or like all these, like, there's so much, and it's not like I'm gonna beat you, but there's so much violence in our language that since I had that class that night, I notice it all the time. I notice it when I say it, and I notice when other people say it. So it's about triggering us and coming up with that word. So I love the idea of picking a new word each day. That's a great idea, Patricia.
Yeah, I just thought, I mean, and you can make it a fun little game for
Mm,
yourself, because sometimes we're, running around and we're so busy and we're just kind of doing. And then if you all of a sudden you heard the word sunshine, or you heard they would like make you like maybe connect you and just think, oh, I'm going to be more aware right now, and it just might be a fun little game because, me, I always like to find some fun in things. So,
yes, I think that's a great idea.
but I love that. And you're so right, Christine, that the words we use, it's amazing, especially in the American language or the English language, or I'd say American because we're more slang.
Yeah, we have our own language, I'm
We have
sure.
our own language, and it's crazy. Like even the word crazy, now you're making me aware of what I'm saying. I'm going to be very careful today. So if I start really like tiptoeing around my words, you're going to know why. But yeah, but it's so true, and I really like that idea too of listening to other people's words, because you're right. Violence in this world is so prevalent that we just don't need to add to it, right? Even though because it becomes subconscious.
Yes, exactly. And
Yeah.
so I'm sorry I kind of took us off on a side note there for a minute, but what you were saying about picking a word, that really stands out to me,
Right. Yeah. Right.
good and bad. So if I hear people say, any fun word, I can use that to trigger, hey, this is where I want to be in the present moment.
Yes, I think that's a great one. So we'll have fun with that this next week. We'll try to do that. We'll bring it into Life's Cheerleader. We'll say, which word did you use today, or something like that. So it'd be awesome.
Yeah, we love it. Good. Okay, so we'll move on to another question.
Okay.
And we have a great question here about goals.
Okay.
So she's asked, if you have a goal, how do you connect to that? How do you stay grounded to it so that you don't give up on it for any number of reasons? Or how do you know when you should just say, you know what, I'm changing that goal? That's a great question.
Yes.
What do you think?
What do I think? How can we connect? Well, again, I think it stems all back to a lot of it is choice and awareness.
Mhm.
And it sounds so like, well, that's the word of the day here type of thing. But, getting and staying connected is grounded. It really is a choice, but it's also becomes habit. And I think we just have to continually be aware and keep working on this to create it so becomes a skill or becomes natural.
Yeah.
Because the more we do it, the easier and more connected or grounded we become. And I think as we notice and we become aware of it. So I'm going to throw that back to you a little bit, Christine, and I'm sure you're going to trigger another thought for me.
Sure. For me, goals are more about connection to our values than anything else. So in order, and this is something I do quite a lot with clients, we work on identifying what their true values are in life, and what's the most important things to them, and are they living their values? Are their goals aligned with their values? And if not, then maybe they don't need that goal after all. So let me give an example. Let's say I have a client who wants to lose some weight. She wants to lose like 20 pounds. And she's really struggling with that. And she knows she can go out and exercise and she can do this and she should do it to be healthy, and all these shoulds come up, right? Should. And this is what I should do, this is what I shouldn't do. Those kind of motivators don't actually work. Shoulds are never very good motivators. So if this is something she really wants to do, then we need to figure out why. And we look at those deeper reasons. Let's say she wants to lose those 20 pounds because she wants to I'm trying to think of a deeper reason, because you know how I feel about weight loss. I picked a bad example. Um, so, because weight loss doesn't work,
Well, I
and
guess it's really if it's lifestyle, or she's doing it for somebody else, or she really wants to do it for her health reasons, maybe.
right. So, I think eventually the point of this is that it's not really about the 20 pounds. It's about, like, as we kind of do some coaching down into a deeper level, it's not really about the 20 pounds. It's about wanting to be around for her grandchildren, wanting to be able to play outside with her grandchildren and be alive for their weddings. So that's what the whole thing came down to. So that was the value, the family and the key and the love and being there for those kids. So once we start connecting to those values, then any goal that truly connects to those values we can find motivation. So it's not, and we shift it from losing weight to being healthy. So that's where, she wants to be healthy so that she can be there for those grandkids. What are the things that she can do? And so that's how we make a goal powerful, and we make a goal connected to who we are. Now, let's say it's a goal that we need to let go of. Sometimes we have goals that other people put upon us, or that we think we should have, and those goals don't actually tie to who we are. And we don't need them. And so when we're looking at everything through a lens of our values, we're able to decide what goals are worth keeping and which ones are time to go.
Agreed. I think that they really have to resonate, and you have to understand your values of why you're doing something. Like you said, where you're going deeper. For instance, just to bring up weight loss again, we're going to be starting like a cheer fit programs, and it really is about lifestyle and wanting to be healthy. Because again, I've lost 20 pounds, gosh, many times, over and over and over.
Yes.
And it really wasn't the proper way of doing it. Was because I wanted to get into that dress, or I got the reunion coming up. But those aren't good goals. That's not a reason. It's not. It's a temporary thing, and I think you need to go deeper in making it part of your values. Like, well, why do you really want to do this? Because you want to look better, but do you really want to feel better? And so you're right about resonating with those goals. And I also find that the goals that I stick with are the ones that I'm very passionate about, the things that I'm, my part of me, part of my values, part of what I want to do, or what I want to leave to people, or that kind of thing. And not just, like you said, a goal because somebody else wants me to do that goal. Those don't resonate. Those don't seem to keep me connected to that goal as well, because I'm doing it for somebody else. Unless that goal resonates, say you have a grandchild or something, and that goal is resonating with you because you're doing something to help his goal, but that's also part of you. So it's so yeah, I think you have to kind of resonate, but I think that it does go back to the values.
And I think that we can get, like, once we set a goal, we can feel like, oh, I have to accomplish, well, maybe this is just the perfectionist in me, but it's like, oh, it's like finishing a book I don't even like. I do those kind of things, and I set this goal, so I gotta keep going that direction. And really, we're back at awareness, because I need to check in, and I need to say, is this goal really still for me? Is it really still something I want? Just because I started down this path doesn't mean that I can't take another fork in the road. And maybe there's something else that is meant for me now. And everything that I've done to get to this point has helped me learn, and help me grow, and help me get to this point. But I don't have to keep going on that same path. I can make a turn anytime I want to.
Absolutely. And I think that's just part of the journey, and people really need to understand that paths do change. We may be going down one thing, and we might have a goal. I mean, if we look back in our history, we look back in our life, it's becoming very historical now for me. I'm getting to that age.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, you know, my 20s, my goals weren't the same, you know, as they are now. And so they've completely changed.
Mhm.
And so we have to understand that that's okay. And sometimes we need to change our goals to really get to the goal we really want to, because you know, we find out like, well, this isn't quite working, or you know, I don't think that's really my goal that I was really thinking about, was really kind of going this way versus the other way. And it's okay to do that. And I think that's another problem, is a lot of people just think, oh, I got this goal, like the perfectionist in you, for an example, that you need to get it done.
Mhm.
And in reality, it's like, okay, no, that's just something you said you wanted to do. It's okay to make a change, to get, you know, and if it kind of resonates in your values, because our values always change a little bit too, as our wisdom changes, our life changes, and we learn and we grow. So it's okay. And I think that that's a big deal, is you're not, because some people think, well, I'm bad if I don't finish my goal. Not necessarily. It's just maybe not resonating in the right way, and maybe you just need to change it up. So think about it more that way, being aware of it and moving on. Because again, my goals change all the time, because I'm having to look and see and think, okay, this is not going right where I want to go. I have to maybe make another change and things like that. So I think that's growth. I think that's growth.
I think so too. And being okay with that, being compassionate with ourselves while we are adjusting and shifting. While you were talking about the changing goals, I had the thought of New Year's resolutions and, you know, all those things that we say we're going to do, but we don't really, we're not passionate about them. We just feel like we should do them. And so that's why they don't get accomplished. So it's that kind of thing.
Exactly. So that's a great question that was asked,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm hopefully we've kind of answered it to, you know, to your satisfaction. It is a type of thing that, again, you kind of just have to be okay with yourself and say that I'm going to change it up, or this particular goal is not working for me. I think I need to move on from it, and be okay with that. And I think a lot of this, if you look at the whole picture, it's really learning and understanding yourself. And that in itself is a journey for the rest of our lives. It's not something that we get to and like, okay, we're there, I'm done. It's not gonna, that doesn't happen. It's a continuous journey to the end. And I just want at the end be able to say, wow, I did, and I was aware of everything I possibly could do. My values, my goals, I did, and I did it well for me. But that doesn't mean that if you didn't live another 10 years, you wouldn't have many more. I mean, everything changes. And so we really need to be, like you said, compassionate to ourselves, and saying, this is a journey I'm going on. And if I don't get it all done by tomorrow, that's okay. If I didn't change my goal, that's okay, because my life values maybe changed a little bit. But if you're passionate about something, then definitely you'll probably stick with it. If you love something, you know, and you want to keep doing it. So again, be easy on yourself, guys, ladies and gentlemen. Be easy on yourself, and just be aware of your thoughts and your journey, and pat yourself on the back for how far you're coming, and where you look back and maybe where you were 6 months ago or a year ago, and now look where you are now. Even yesterday, I'm so much better than I was yesterday. So I'm patting myself on the back again. And so I just think we need to do that.
Mm-hmm. That's great. So let's do one more question.
Okay.
Okay, here's a good one.
Okay.
You know, we've had all this talk about awareness and thinking, and how about this question is, how do we step into action? So, you know how we can get frozen and afraid of taking that first step. Do you have any good tips, Patricia, on how we can just finally step into action?
You know, it's kind of like Nike says, just do it. And it sounds a little simple, but I have to say to myself, I mean, it's so easy to say, well, I'll do this tomorrow. you know, and then I have to remind myself, well, tomorrow never comes, you know, and yesterday, well, that's gone. And so I just need to do it today. And the tips are really is you need to create a list a lot of ways. And I think that lists do help people because I feel that when they check something off, they feel like they've accomplished something, even if it's just for their own purposes. But you really just need to say, and it's a choice. Again, we go right back to choices. To start something or take that first step into doing something, you have to choose to do it. You have to choose to start. And then I also look back and say, what if I don't start? If I don't do this today, what is going to be the repercussions? And I come back to the fact that it's like, well, I'll be in exactly the same place. And will I be happy? And I ask these questions of myself. Will I be happy in a year from now if I didn't start this now? And if I say no, then I like, ooh, I better start. So it's really easy for this today or tomorrow to turn into a year, and you're like frustrated that you didn't start back in the day. So you just really need to make a choice and choose to start what you want to do, whether it be awareness, whether it be working out, whether it's fitness, whether it's a new job, whatever it is, you've got to choose and you need to start. I mean, it's just really simple, but I think you have to really look at what are the repercussions if I don't.
Mm-hmm.
How about you? Do you have a thought on that?
Well, I know that sometimes I can get really overwhelmed, like with the bigness of the action, like I'm going to have to take some big steps. And so for me, I try to break it down into as small of steps as possible. So what's the first step that I can do to move that direction? And if I think about it in those little pieces, then I have the tendency to be more successful. And I agree, lists are really helpful. For me, when I feel overwhelmed, if I write things down, then I can kind of let some of the pieces go. So if I have this big goal, then in that, I'm going to write down all the things that I need to accomplish, all the things that are the steps along the way, all the actions that I'll need to take, and then I pick one that I can accomplish today. And then if one, it can't be accomplished in a day, so what's the part of it today? You know, I need to break it down further. And I think by continuing to break it down, I'm going to be able to get so much further, you know, because time goes on no matter what we're doing. So if I just do it one bit at a time, by the end of the year, gosh, where am I going to be?
Exactly. That's a good thought because it is baby steps. And I think a lot of times we do get overwhelmed with the big thing and just starting it. But when I say start too and choosing to start, it's choosing to start with that little list. It's choosing to start with those baby steps. It's choosing to say, okay, I'm going to create a list and I'm going to check this off because this is going to help me either towards my goal or what I'm trying to do. If you don't do something and just start with the list or whatever, you will at the end of the year be going, oh my gosh, I didn't do anything. And then you're going to be disappointed and frustrated. And that's when I look down the line, I think about those things. Again, it's because I'm becoming more aware. I'm knowing now what I'm probably going to feel like in a year if I don't do some of these things that were important to me. And I keep thinking about them, I'll do them tomorrow. But you're right. When you're overwhelmed, just become like a turtle. I have this great friend that she is, okay, she's like probably 75. She's super slow. When I say slow, she walks with a limp and a cane and everything like this. But this woman, she's like a turtle. She just keeps going and she takes one little step at a time. And it amazes me all the time what she gets done. And yet I am energetic and flitting around here and there. And I'm like sometimes like going like, woo, 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 you know, and crazy. And she just is taking one little turtle step, cane step at a time. And my goodness, she gets things done all the time. So it is baby steps, but she does have a goal. She has a little goal. She has it written down and she takes her baby steps to get there. And this woman is phenomenal. And I just got to keep learning from her. Like, I even call her the turtle. I said, you shock me all the time. You have all this stuff. And she said, I just take it one little step at a time. And I said, I need to keep learning from you.
That is awesome. Yeah.
Just being aware and learning from people and watching how other people and maybe getting some mentors. This is what we do at Life Cheerleader. Is, you know, there's so many people that want to help and be supportive with people's goals. And there's simple steps to getting there. And so many women need that. And so that's what we do at Life Cheerleader, is constantly supporting and helping you get taking those little baby steps to get where you need to go. And then pretty soon you look back and go, whoa, I'm a lot further than I thought I was. And it's an exciting time. So
yes.
Oh my goodness, wow, we got down to that 30 minutes fast, didn't we?
Oh, we sure did. Our time went fast today.
Yeah, so
if we didn't get to your question, please come on in. Those of you that are members of Life's Cheerleader, please come in to the pep chat area and share your question again, and we will chat it out just like we do every day. Because in Life's Cheerleader, we provide coaching every day. It's all up to you. As a member, you can just share anything you'd like with us, and we're there to support you, to provide any guidance and chit-chat, and to have fun.
Yeah, and we're going to have some fun coming up, everybody. We got some cheer fit, we got some cheer footing, and we've got some video footing. So that's all going to be exciting too. So you just wait and see. We got some fun little things happening. So we're pretty excited. So anyway, it was great to see everybody. Great to see you too, Christine, today.
You
so
too.
I guess we'll be signing off until next month, right?
Yes, we will. See you members soon. And those of you that are visitors today, we do hope that you join Life's Cheerleader.
Okay, sounds good. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Take care.